I thought my biggest problem would be keeping the movie crew on schedule. The production had spent weeks transforming my backyard into a perfect period film set, millions of dollars in equipment, and contracts were tied to that location. Then the HOA president decided she didn't like what she saw. Linda Brooks showed up without warning. She stared at the film set like it was some kind of neighborhood violation. I explained that everything had been professionally permitted for production. She simply said, "The HOA doesn't allow this." I asked her to show me the rules she was talking about. Instead, she told me to shut the production down immediately. I warned her that the studio had contracts worth millions of dollars. She laughed and said, then they should have asked the HOA first. The director decided to keep filming. Every minute mattered because the actors and equipment were booked on a strict schedule. Linda watched from outside the property, clearly furious. None of us realized she was about to make a decision that would cost her HOA dearly. Then I heard heavy engines approaching. Several HOA trucks drove straight toward the film set. Linda was standing behind them, giving instructions. I knew immediately that she wasn't there to talk anymore. The bulldozer rolled forward before anyone could believe what was happening. I shouted that the set was private property. Linda didn't even stop the machine. She told the operator to clear the violation. The first impact destroyed the front of the set. Then another section collapsed. The crew could only stand there and watch years of planning turn into rubble. Linda still believed she was enforcing an HOA rule. Then I saw the production equipment scattered across the ground. Some cameras had been damaged. Lighting equipment and custom props were destroyed too. The financial loss was already climbing into the millions. The director immediately called the studio executives. He explained exactly what had happened. I watched his expression change as he described the destroyed set. Then he looked at me and said, "They're going to sue." Less than an hour later, the studio's legal team arrived. They photographed everything before anyone touched the debris. They documented the equipment, the destroyed structures, and every piece of damage. Linda finally stopped smiling when she realized who had just arrived. The studio lawyer opened production contract in front of everyone. The location agreement clearly identified my property as an authorized filming site. It also documented the value of the sets and equipment destroyed. Linda's face changed the moment she saw the numbers. Linda tried to blame everything on the HOA regulations. She insisted production never had permission from the neighborhood association. The studio attorney calmly asked one question. Where exactly does your HOA agreement give you the right to destroy private property? I reached into my folder and pulled out the filming permit. The permit had been approved before the cameras ever arrived. The property records and production authorization were both valid. Linda had destroyed a permitted movie set on private land. The studio began calculating every dollar of damage. Custom sets, rental equipment, crew delays, insurance costs, and production losses were all documented. The total kept getting higher, and Linda still hadn't understood how serious this had become. The production schedule had to be suspended. Actors were sent home. Equipment rentals were canceled, and the entire crew was put on standby. Every hour delay created another financial loss, all because Linda decided an HOA rule mattered more than the law. Then the sheriff arrived to document the incident. He inspected the property and photographed the destruction. He asked Linda, who had authorized the bulldozer to enter my land. For the first time, she didn't have an easy answer. The sheriff questioned the bulldozer operator directly. The operator admitted Linda had personally instructed him to clear the structure. That statement changed everything. Now there was a clear record of who had ordered the destruction. The lawsuit was served before Linda could leave. The studio was demanding compensation for the destroyed production and resulting losses. The documents listed damage far beyond the value of the wooden set. Linda finally realized her decision could cost millions. The HOA board held an emergency meeting that night. Several members demanded to know why Linda had acted without authorization. Nobody wanted the association responsible for a multi-million-dollar lawsuit. For the first time, Linda was completely alone. By sunset, the entire destroyed film set had become evidence. The studio had its contracts. The sheriff had the photographs.